Hello, welcome to my channel, CineRam. My name is Scott, and it's another somewhat gloomy, overcast day here in the Chicagoland area, or at least it was the day before I posted this video. March 22nd. What happened on March 22nd that I'm here to talk about? Well, it just happens to be the birthday of my favorite actress, Reese Witherspoon. It's funny, I have a birthday very close to hers, but her birthday is even closer to my little brother. In fact, she was born the same year as him. They were born basically like a week apart. But that's not why I'm a fan of hers, of course. There's a number of films that I'm fond of hers, and there's ones that I don't like all that much. But overall, I'm quite a big fan of hers and look forward to everything that she does, especially when she ends up working with someone like Meryl Streep, as she has in the upcoming season of Big Little Lies, which will be out later this year. That'll be really exciting. But I thought I'd talk about something a little bit off topic as far as that goes. The top 10 movies that Reese didn't start in. Now, you might be thinking, were we going to start with like The Wizard of Oz or The Great Train Robbery, something like that? No, I'm talking about movies that she could have been in. Seeing as how I'm a big fan of hers, every time she's mentioned as a possibility for starring in some project, or anytime there's a story about some role she missed out on, that kind of information gets lodged in my head pretty easily. And so I compiled a little list based on what I've read and some of the things that she said on talk shows and things like that about the projects that she wasn't a part of. And number 10 is The Intern. The Intern is a comedy that came out a few years ago. Robert De Niro played a retiree who decides to take a job at this corporation working for this a woman in her late 30s, I guess, early 30s, something like that, and ends up being sort of like giving her a lot of good advice. I've never actually seen the film. Anne Hathaway ended up taking that part, but before she got cast, Reese was mentioned as one of the possible co-stars for Robert De Niro, which is funny because that's actually the second time she missed out on co-starring with Robert De Niro in a film. We'll get to the other one in a little bit. Number 9 is Aloha. Aloha is a Cameron Crowe movie that came out, I think, in 2015. Bradley Cooper is the main character, and his leading lady is Emma Stone. Originally, the title for this movie was Deep Tiki, and the stars were going to be Ben Stiller and Reese, but went through some changes and some casting changes and what have you. Cameron Crowe was the guy who was behind it all, but it didn't end up turning out so well. It wasn't a very well-liked movie, and there, of course, were all that racial stuff with, the character supposedly being 1/4 Hawaiian or something like that, though, not played by, a person who's Hawaiian in any sense. I believe that would be like the lead part that she would have been up for had she been in this, but she wasn't, so maybe that's a good thing. Number 8, Downsizing. Downsizing came out, I think, in 2017. Sometime around Christmas time. Matt Damon's the main character, and he was basically this guy who volunteered to be shrunk down so that he could live in a miniature civilization where his net worth would be a lot greater. His co-star Kristen Wiig played his wife in the movie, but originally Reese was someone who was possibly going to play that part. Alexander Payne is the director of this movie. I saw it. I really didn't like it all that much, so I'm not too displeased that she ended up missing out on being in that one. Number 7, But I'm a Cheerleader. This is a early 2000s movie, a small, low-budget indie movie. Reese had talked about the possibility of being in this movie a long time ago, and her family didn't want her to be in it because about a young woman who is trying to figure out whether she's gay or not. She goes to one of those camps, basically. She ends up getting together with Clea Duvall. The main character actually was played by, oh boy, what's her name? She's in American Pie. She's in the American Pie movies. Jeez, I should remember her name. Darn it. Anyway, this was something that Reese was thinking about starring in, but she was discouraged from doing so. So that might have been a missed opportunity right there. Natasha Lyonne, sorry. Natasha Lyonne was the actress who played the main character in that movie. Also Michelle Williams is in it, but she was in a very small part. Slow Motion. Slow Motion is a memoir about a woman, a young woman in college who ended up having an affair, a long-time affair with her roommate's father. And that led to a lot of sort of self-hatred and drug and alcohol addiction. Eventually she got into recovery and became an actress for a little while, and then became a professional writer. She wrote like at least 3 novels before she wrote Slow Motion, which is a memoir story of her basically having to deal with her addiction and dealing with this guy who she was involved with for many years, even though it was a rather destructive relationship. I read about this book and the possibility that Reese would play this character, and so I bought the book and read it. It's been like one of my favorite books ever since then. It's really great. But the movie never ended up getting made, so that's too bad. There's a few other projects like that. There was a Honey West adaptation. Honey West is an old TV show that would have gotten a film treatment, and Reese could have been the main character in that, but that didn't end up happening. There's a few like that, you know, that just didn't end up happening for one reason or another. But for the most part, this list is devoted to movies that actually got made. This should be number 6, right? Clueless? Clueless. Clueless, of course, starred Alicia Silverstone as Cher, and I can't remember exactly what I read about this movie, but I know that Reese was up for the part in some way or another. It ended up going to Alicia Silverstone. It's funny because after this movie came out and was a success, Alicia Silverstone became a big star. She ended up getting a deal with one of the major studios for a multi-picture deal. And at the time, Reese wasn't nearly as famous, but she'd be interviewed by people who would mistake her for Alicia Silverstone's sister because they look so much alike. So they'd ask her things like, so is your sister Alicia going to sort of share in this deal she got, this multi-picture deal with a major studio? And Reese would go, yes, she is. She's very generous. I'm lucky to have such a great sister. Clueless is not a movie that I've been terribly fond of, but a lot of people really are, and of course it was a big hit. So if she had been in that movie, she would have gotten a little jump on her stardom, whereas it pretty much came around with Legally Blonde in 2001. I think that I can safely say that Clueless is a better movie than Legally Blonde. But that's okay. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this list right now is because just a few days ago a trailer came out for a movie called Lucy in the Sky. And the original title for this is Pale Blue Dot. Pale Blue Dot, it's about an astronaut, a woman who is an astronaut, and according to the preview that just got released, she is rather dismayed by the fact that she doesn't get to spend most of her life in space. She has to spend it on the ground. Being in space is an exhilarating experience for her. She found it very fulfilling. Natalie Portman ended up playing the part, and so she is, the star of the movie. The director is Noah Hawley, who is the creator of the television series Fargo and Legion. I haven't seen a lot of Fargo, but Legion I really like a lot. It's a really, really exciting show. And so I was looking forward to seeing this. And when I heard that she was going to play the character, I'm just like, wow, this is something to look forward to. But she ended up not doing it for various reasons. Probably wanted to focus on her TV series. And she's got another series with Jennifer Aniston, which I think is going to be on Hulu. So Natalie Portman ended up playing this part, which is kind of too bad. I would have really liked to see her in that. I guess I'm on number 3 now. Might have skipped a number. Sorry about that. Number 3 is Gone Girl. Gone Girl from 2014. This was David Fincher's adaptation of the novel by Gillian Flynn, and Reese is actually the producer on this movie. She basically got the rights for the book and put it through her production company. Basically, she's one of the producers that brought it to the screen. However, she wanted to play the part of Amy Dunn, but Fincher decided that it would be better if he had someone who is either an actress or producer, but not both at the same time working for him. So he got Rosamund Pike to play the part, and Reese ended up just being a producer, but it's all good because she ended up starring in Wild instead, which is a fantastic movie, and she gives one of her best performances in her whole career in that. I'm not sure she would have been better than Rosamund Pike in this movie, but the opportunity to see her in a David Fincher movie would have been pretty exciting for me, seeing as how Fincher's like my favorite director. Anyway, Gone Girl, yeah, that's number 3. Number 2, here's another movie that if she had been in, she would have become a big star like much sooner. Scream. Scream came out in 1996, about 5 years before Legally Blonde. Neve Campbell, of course, ended up playing the part. But what I've read is that Reese was actually offered the part first, and she turned it down because she had just been in a movie called Fear with Mark Wahlberg, and she ended up not really liking the experience all that much. So she didn't want to be in another horror movie where she was getting attacked and put in danger and stuff like that. If she had been in this movie, of course, it would have been, another blockbuster, I'm sure, and she would have had a franchise. Instead of the Legally Blonde franchise, she would have been, Sidney Prescott instead. And that would have been exciting. I really would have liked that. Not that I don't like Neve Campbell. I think she's great in the part most of the time. But yeah, it just wasn't the right fit for her at that time. She didn't want to do a movie like this, so there you go. One movie that she did want to do, but didn't end up doing, number 1 movie that Reese did not star in, is Martin Scorsese's Cape Fear. This is something that she talked about in one of her very first talk show appearances in the late 90s. She went on Jay Leno to promote Pleasantville, and she talked about going to an audition to meet Robert De Niro and Martin Scorsese to play Nick Nolte's daughter in Cape Fear. Juliette Lewis, of course, got the part. She got an Oscar nomination for it. She's terrific in the movie, but it could have been her part if she hadn't freaked out by the guy sitting next to her on the plane talking them up so much. It's a funny story. So yeah, that was 1991. That was 10 years before Legally Blonde. So if she had been in this movie, she would have gotten that huge public profile even way sooner than if she had been in Scream. So maybe it all worked out for the best. I love Cape Fear. It's a great movie. Juliette Lewis is terrific in it. But you always kind of wonder what could have been, Anyway, maybe it did work out for the best there. But yeah. As usual, I look forward to everything that she does. I don't know what her next film project is going to be, but I know she's got her fingers in a lot of different pies. She's got the series on HBO. She's got the Hulu series that she's going to be doing next, I guess. And I look forward to all of it whenever I can get the chance to see it. So I thought you might find this a little bit interesting. I talked a couple months ago about doing an MCU series, but what I'm not going to do is a video on each film. If you would like to see a video review series on the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, check out Luke Razorwire Reviews. I'll put the link to his playlist below so you can look at all his videos. He just reviewed Captain Marvel. He's already reviewed Iron Man and Iron Man 2 and The Incredible Hulk. He may have new videos up as you watch this. So check out his channel and check out his series on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm going to be doing something related to that, but not a movie-by-movie review. I'll cover the movies, but in chunks, and I'll talk about some other stuff too. In the lead-up, of course, to Endgame, which is coming out in late April. Coming real soon. It's only about a month away. Maybe 5 weeks away, we're going to get Avengers Endgame, and I'm super excited about that, as I am for anything Reese does. Thank you for watching. The link to my Facebook page is below if you'd like to see more of stuff like that. And of course, I've got lots of other videos and playlists of other people's stuff on my channel. Feel free to browse around. Thank you again very much for watching. I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.